so long as like alchemy.
All right, here we go. There's the two All-Stars. And I gotta be real with you, I'm not really feeling these new unis. I'm not feeling the mustard yellow. I like the logoing, I like what it stands for, but they gotta invert the colors. There's Steph, he gives him the little Chris Paul slow down booty bump and one. Now, I don't know what amount of 2K currency Andre Iguodala has spent or saved up, but he bought himself some new legs. Look at him at the rim, two hands, and he was looking spry all night. Now you're going to see Jeff Teague scamper out of the grass on a fast break, gets the and one. Shout out to my guy, fresh out of a bug's life. And it's in the eyes, man. The brother got them bug eyes, man. And we've seen the Splash Brothers have been off of late. It was not the case in this game. Maybe it was the bright yellow jerseys for the yellow backcourt, but anything Steph or Clay put up in this first half was dropping, and these transition threes hurt the knees. Peep Tyus Jones, and you're trained at such a young age to protect the rim, but when you come to Oracle, you got to run them off the three-point line. Minnesota would hang around, but second half, it was really more the same. And there was a point here where Clay's eyes glaze over, and you saw China Clay. 7 threes, and he was just wearing Wiggins out over these screens. And how is Wiggins not a better defender? Minnesota tried to use their size and bang Golden State on the glass, but to no avail. Looney and KD played big. And Steph's like, you thought it was what it wasn't. KD, corner, had 6 of them. Golden State shot 56% from behind the arc. Anytime they do that, you can start the engines at halftime. Now, let's give Minnesota some credit, though. They battled tough through this, but the transition offense was something special. Look at this dude, man. The physical gifts. He missteps. It doesn't matter. He reaches around and stretches it with the left hand. And then I'm telling you, I don't know what Iguodala put in them knees, but look at that. He got a third gear all of a sudden. Steph's going to polish him off with his 5th three of the night. And Golden State hammers Minnesota on a Thursday. Woo, okay, how many highlights were there really in that game? And, you know, those highlights maybe didn't do it justice, but you know where to go if you want that extendo. So first quarter, man, I think they set like a record, at least this season. I think they said something back about the Suns, like the 7 seconds or less Suns. They had 26 fast break points in the first quarter alone. And they were just ripping the ball. Everybody was finishing at the rim. And it was extremely impressive, and everybody was just tuned up, and you could tell they were crisp. They had been home a couple days, right? And I think also there was the effect that Minnesota's going to be in the playoffs, right? They're the 4 seed, or they're somewhere in that realm, and we may see them, and I think I want to send a message. Remember, we played them back-to-back in China. They got a nice win against us, and they're a young team where you can really kind of play that big boy look to them, that big brother look to them. So I think they wanted to establish that early. But, you know, Minnesota has some fight along with a lot of talent. Now, Jimmy Butler sat out his 4th game with I don't know if it's a swollen knee or what it is. I was disappointed, man. I always want these teams at full strength because I don't like excuses. And you want to see what's what. And Jimmy Butler is their best player, All-Star, along with Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, in the second quarter, how Minnesota got back into things was they started to punish us with their size. Taj Gibson and Karl-Anthony Towns, he started off flinging threes, and we let him do that. But after we got out to that hot start, I think Tibbs instructed his young all-star center forward to go inside and use his size. And you saw a couple nasty, tenacious dunks from Karl-Anthony Towns. I have no problem with him making the all-star team, but if he is on my list of like who you could have switched out, right? He wasn't like a lock to make the all-star team. And it's just funny, man, because you see these flashes from him, and I expected a lot more. I'm disappointed in Karl-Anthony Towns. Minnesota fans, y'all can let me know how you feel about him. It's just because you see these flashes of aggression, and at this point, I know he's still young, but he's played enough games in the NBA where I don't think it's not gonna be there. It's like if Towns was a prize fighter and you were his trainer, you would know you have to slap him around in the back before he comes into the cage, right? Or steps into the ring. You can't let him warm up in the ring. You got to kind of slap him around, irritate him a little bit, and then he'll come out aggressive and you get the best of Karl-Anthony Towns. And the fact that it kind of has to be pulled out of him, I think is going to limit his potential as like a great, great player. He's a star player, right? Andre Iguodala, man. I tweeted out, man, he sat up like the Undertaker, right? He just out of nowhere. And y'all know how I felt about it, but I said, let's wait till after the All-Star break. But I was really questioning it this season. And I mentioned it last game. I liked like how he was moving, and then it came to fruition in this game. He had, I believe, 9, 10 points, a couple assists, but it was what he was doing out there. The dunks, the pushing in transition. And he just looks rejuvenated, man. So that was really the best thing that happened in this game, was a rejuvenated Andre Iguodala. Zaza was a big part of that first quarter run. What else happened here? So KD got a triple-double. And in the second half, what happened, Minnesota hung in, right? And it was their size. Again, Taj Gibson and Towns using their size. Andrew Wiggins was shut down. I believe he was 4 of 18. And his jumper is, I usually comment on guys with slow releases. I think he might want to slow down his release. It's fluid, but it's just almost too quick. I think that I don't know. I think he struggles with the rhythm. I don't think he knows his rhythm yet, but he was 4 of 18. The 3 balls weren't falling with the exception of Towns early. And what was interesting was KD got the triple-double, right? And everybody was in. Clay had like 6 threes at one point. He was 6 for 6, and the ball movement was crazy. But again, like we've seen every time this year, they took their foot off the pedal a little bit, probably midway through the third, and then Jay Boogie started crossing on him. Right. And he's one of them dudes, man. He's amazing. Him and David West, I don't know what the deal is with him, but he's really impossible to guard. He has that hezzy. He comes off a pick. He'll in and out dribble you like he's going to pass it to the big, and he'll go right up and do a jumper. There's nothing you can do. You don't have a choice in the matter. So he got going. But down the stretch, the key thing to this game was with the death lineup. They went small. Kerr went small because Iguodala had bounce, right? But that left KD to essentially play center, or Draymond, pick your choice. Either way, they were small. And what I wanted to watch was, are they going to kill us on the boards? And they didn't. KD I think he had 11, 12 rebounds, obviously, with the triple-double, but I think they were all defensive rebounds, and they were all solid box outs. He didn't let Taj Gibson bully him. I know Taj isn't as tall as Durant, but he's much stronger, and he's much more adept in the post and in the paint. And KD played big defensively. Now, here's one thing to keep an eye on. He started hunting assists late in that game when they got sloppy. And I don't really have a big problem with it. Like, it was like, all right, he had the triple-double, and a lot of it came naturally in the first half, right? Clay and everybody, all these dunks. But at the end, he was hunting assists. He was. And it got me to thinking, is KD starting to eye that MVP, right? We're probably going to have the best record in the league. And it's not, it is what it is. I'm just putting that out there. I think KD might have his eyes on that MVP. Now, as long as the stat padding happens in garbage time, I don't really have a problem with it. But let's keep an eye on KD and his stats in garbage time, all right? Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.